Hey, good evening, everyone. All the way from the other side of the world, if you're on the other side of the world. If you're not, I'm just north of you in Australia and a little farther north if you are in New Zealand. Good morning, New Zealand. Good morning, Papua New Guinea. Good morning, Manila. Japan. Hawaii, just going to bed. So here we are, one more day on the ether. My name is Peter Stone. I'm the founder of Peter Stone Jewelry. Why would I ever build a company in a foreign country that has language written in a different way? The culture is totally different than what I was used to in America. And I had brief tastes and touches and little stops around the world, from Africa to the Mediterranean to Northern Europe. Where else did I go? South America, all of North and South America when I was a teenager on merchant ships. I was out riding my 10-speed bicycle through the Andes that I bought in Houston, Texas at a pawn shop, riding through the Andes Mountains on a beautiful Saturday morning into Salaverry, Peru. Like on this road, it's a deserted road. Like, I don't know who's on that road. I got on my 10-speed and I rode for 10 miles up into the hill, into the town. And I got a hotel room and there was a fiesta in the plaza at night. And I'm like, what do I do with my bike? Like, I don't know anybody. I never did this in my life. I'm an 18-year-old kid. And I got a bicycle and I got no friends. I got nobody I know. And I spoke some Spanish because I had to learn Spanish when I was on the ship. The crew, half of it or more, was fluent. I mean, they spoke Spanish all the time. I learned French in high school. I forgot that French in 6 months of South America. So I got to tell you a little bit about South America because I did get immersed there. So it is the evening time in one of my favorite places, Chile, and I love Peru. And hello, if you're watching, I had a blast, and I left my bicycle in the room, locked up in my closet or tied to my closet, and I went to the plaza and I lived, and I had a blast. And so the title of this video, of this session, is What's Different About Peter Stone? Well, quite frankly, the guy who built Peter Stone is different. I was an outcast, like a black sheep, right? Not really a black sheep, but I didn't hang, did it what everybody else did. I was out in the ocean, catching lobsters, catching fish, digging clams, always curious on the seashore. What is the world? What is this stuff? And I'm still curious like that. And that's how I built my company in Thailand. Richard Branson wrote a book, Screw It, Let's Do It. It's just a little skinny book, and I read it, boom. And I'm like, yeah, Richard, that's exactly my mindset. And this woman from Hollywood, she's a trainer, a story trainer, told me, Peter, your story, you're just a poor man Branson because you live the same life as him. I haven't launched any rockets. I'm not here to compare, but it's the mindset that we have that gets us where we go and that guides our life and decides, right? It guides and decides, or we decide, then we're guided. Because solutions always show up. People say, oh, I'm afraid, I can't do this. I don't know about that. What about that? Just do it. Just go for it, because guess what? When you expect the best to happen, it will, but you're going to get beat up along the way, for sure. Surprises, but that's where the adrenaline jumps up. Who needs drugs? I gave them up a long time ago, way before I built my company, thank God. And you get them across the pharmacy counter in South America. When I was 18, I had a rough journey. It was a party. But I rode that bicycle all the way up to the mountains. I never fell off because it wasn't high or anything like that. But I had my moments. And I cleared my head and I cleared the deck, because no matter where you are in life, you can do and get out and change anything. It's like my wife. She comes from in the middle of Thailand, and she comes from a farming family, and they all farmed. She says, not me. I'm not doing this. I mean, they had cattle, and they're pretty well-to-do family. Lots of land, lots of rice, lots of all kinds of stuff. And I mean, good organic food every day, right? I mean, geez, man, abundance. But she said, I'm not doing that. I'm not a farmer. I'm not doing that. I am going to get better. I am doing better. And she goes, oh, well, we work and I help poor people back my village, and, because they don't have the opportunity. Wait. We all have the same opportunity, all of us. So it's us who choose to, sorry, I got incoming orders. I just forgot to shut my phone off. One of our customer who has been working with us, custom design. He's from Jamaica, and I can hardly understand him. When I first, like 5 years ago, when we first started, and he is a bit of a shaman, and he comes and has us make, and can't tell him, he comes to make extra, like every design has somebody's initials on it and has a power symbol. And on the front, he uses like sun and moon and ancient symbols from some of our collections. And he knows the energies of all of these. And he gives me great information all the time. I mean, we have and it takes me it takes me sometimes an hour or two to get through, because he doesn't use a computer. And it's too much to learn. Okay. He's from Jamaica and he's got a limited education, but he's brilliant in his shamanism. He knows how to heal, protect, all this stuff. So he has these clients in New York City, and he makes these special, amazing pieces of jewelry. Like, that's why he's calling, because we called on the weekend. He called me and gave me another design, a pentacle of the moon, and on the back we put all of this. There's an angel on the back, the wearer's initial. But this guy's amazing. He spends 3 days shifting their energy. He gets them in a bath, and he uses oils, flowers, I would say all different kinds of herbs. And they do an energetic trip, because some people try all this stuff to change their life and their direction. And once they finish this, I get little bits of detail over the year. We're going to actually put a book together for you on this subject. Just 10 pages, some guides of how to use these things. And so he's calling me, and I just can't answer him at the moment, but I will. And the people that wear and use and how they use Peter Stone jewelry, like I don't know. I just show up and I do it. So, like a very famous witch in Salem, right? She goes, Peter, like, you did all these designs. She says, do you know all the power in these? Like, I don't, because it's like the muse thing. It's like, this is what I talk about all the time. You gotta follow your gut and the message to the mind that we get. And it's like, I don't know what, like, we all know. I don't know why, but I want to do this thing. Pay attention to that stuff. Don't pay attention to this very much. We overthink and we screw it up. So this is the Peter Stone difference, okay? This is where it starts. I'm not going to tell you about what's so different about the jewelry and all this, how cool and how you need to buy it. That's not the point of this. This is digging into the core of us as people, as individuals, as humans, as energetic beings here, and saying, well, like, it's a discovery for me, because every time I touch on this subject, I'm asking, like, oh, so what is different? And I was talking with a comedy trainer. I did some voice training with Roger Love in California and Hollywood. And he's like, oh yeah, I hired this guy to train comedy. So I'm talking to him. And I've got this recorded, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Nobody ever thought about that in Hollywood? Well, okay, that's fine. So I said about God, he says, oh yeah, I do this mindset training, like mindfulness. He said, I've been doing it for 10 years and a long time. And I'm like, oh, cool. So we're talking, and I go, well, the way I see God is like we're partners. It's not like he's greater or bigger than me. He's like part of me, right? I mean, the universe is part of me. We're all like one, but so many of us want to, we feel separate. Ugh. That's like a crappy feeling. That's an awful feeling. So I got to shake it out when I say it, because words matter. Now, this trainer, we're talking, and we're just chilling, talking, and I'm learning about comedy, okay, and it's okay. I got my own stuff, but it was part of the training, so I liked it. A nice guy, really great guy, and so we had a good time. And he's just like, so I did this, and God this, and I'm like, okay. So the way I see it is, God is like the admiral. I'm the captain, and the admiral always calls the shots. It's not me. I'm like, I get a message and I act. I get a message and I act. I don't go to the book and say, shit, is this what they taught me? Is this the way, you're supposed to do this in business? Yeah. I mean, I studied books. I looked at books, but my common sense, thank God I got some, that my common sense and my gut, I'm connected to it. And I believe that's because I was in the middle of the ocean, down by the sea since I was a kid, not hanging out with all the kids, being distracted and doing what mommy said and daddy said and all this silly ass stuff, doing what my heart said and discovering what the gifts of life were. I just remember looking at the life in the sea pools for hours, and talking to the birds, talking to the sea, talking to the ocean, talking to me, talking to God, talking to the universe. And it's all there to serve us. And I believe this is the biggest place where people have a disconnect. Go to church Sunday, go to church Monday. So my accountant, back in 1987, I'm sitting there. George walks into my office. He's the VP of the company, and he goes, Peter, I got the year-end numbers. He says, so what do you think? I go, well, George, this is what I think the numbers are, because I always ran my company in my head. And there were 34 employees, team players, right? And I'm like, so what do you think? And it was a seven-figure number, not 350,000. It's a number that was on our final numbers. And that's what I said. It was like 300, but it was 354,000. And so I say that only because when you raise your awareness, it's about the gift. It's about, that's what's different, is when you get present, everything is there for you to access. You don't need a whole lot of people. You open up, but you mingle and you learn and you listen, like those trainers, comedy trainer, speaker trainer, mind thought trainer. I want to know how they think, what they see that I don't see, learn from it, and get a summary together that is me, because I don't take everything from Robbins or Bouchard or all these other trainers. I take what resonates, I use it, and then I plug it into me, and I listen to the Admiral, and I go forward and I act. And that is how one day in Seattle, I had to make a decision. I had a 2,500 square foot warehouse in South Seattle. They tied up my ship that I was on for 4.5 months, making great money. Old steamship, stayed in port 3 to 5 days, going all around Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, and all over, and making good money. It was a fun ship. It was an old ship. It was not an old ship, but it was an older ship, kept up, but it had the character, not a box ship running into sandbars in the Suez Canal. No, what a boring ship that is to work on. I've worked on ships like that. Quite frankly, they suck. It's like getting on a bus, and when you get on the bus, you get to the bus stop, you get off, there is no quality to the journey. And that's why I found it so hard back in 1987 to quit this job, because I had another 5 months I could have got on the ship and made money and traveled, and it was a great paying job. And most importantly, it was the adventure, and it was a long time, because I worked as a relief engineer. When people took a holiday or took a break, I'd go run the ship for them. And there were different ships all the time. So I had to go down and find these thousands of valves and pipes and figure out how it's going to work, because I've never seen it before, and I'm going to take it across the ocean. And man, you got to figure it out. You got like 24 hours, 36 hours. In one case, we had 5 days. It's a cold ship. You go in, you got to start it up. How do we do this? The guy had never been on that type of ship, chief engineer, and I was the first engineer, and we had to start it. There was not a key, and it was an adventure. And we did it, and we brought it around the world. And we made that baby fly. It's a 700-foot ship. And then they tied it up. And I'm like, oh, shit, should I take my vacation check, go to Asia, buy the jewelry, then I'm going to start my silver business? No, not ready. Just go hang out, get a little more money. And then they kept on putting it off. And I said, no, that's it. I turned in my job. I quit. I got my vacation check, over $5,000, mind you. So I quit that job. It was like $10,000 my vacation check, and half of it I bought jewelry. I got on the plane and I flew to Thailand, and I didn't know anything about jewelry. I knew about this company that I bought some rings from before in 1985 and traded them in Pakistan and sold them in Cape May, New Jersey. And I went and bought $5,000 worth of jewelry. They dumped stuff on me, size 5 men's rings. I mean, really, come on. And I didn't even know the difference. And they just stacked my bag, helped me out, but they made sure in that bag that there was enough good jewelry that I could sell it and I would be back. But they skimmed it, like 30% was like, let's unload it on Peter. So it's a lesson. So what? It wasn't 100% good. And I always thought in high school, if I got an 85, man, that's pretty good. And then I thought in my business, if everybody's doing 85, the best they can do, and it's not perfect, that's good enough. And we'll run the business, because how many people ever aced tests and got hundreds in school. So my philosophy about building business, about life is that, look, if you got 90, 85, 80%, and the other 20% is like you're out having fun and doing shit you really love to do, and screw the rest of it. Making money, enjoying life, having fun, traveling the world. That's what fairs, festivals, and events will get you. But let's just come back down to what's different. So I hopped on a plane. I just started a business I didn't really know a lot about. And I got back to Key West, where my home was, because I was waiting in Seattle for the ship. And I went back and I woke up the next day with a bag of jewelry and like exhausted, 36 hours. And I went and knocked on doors all day long. No. Who wants a size 5 men's? No, it's at the end of the season in Key West. I'm trying to sell jewelry in May. That's a few years ago, this month. Because I started my business in March. And that's a little progression of it. So I was in Key West trying to sell this. Maybe it was on the exact same day. Who knows? But it doesn't matter. So finally, by 5:30 in the afternoon, I was down close to the southernmost point in Key West at a little motel resort that had a gift shop. And this guy's like, chill Key West. I mean, with the good old days, okay? How things have changed. And we're having a good talk. And he goes, oh, okay, let me take a look at your jewelry. And he bought $169 worth of jewelry. Fuel in my fire, baby, because it was no all day long. No. Man, I didn't feel very good. Jet lag, beat up. And if you ever flew from Thailand to America, and it's 12 hours difference, the jet lag kicks in really bad about 5 or 6 o'clock. So I'm feeling like really tired. But this guy put the fuel, kicked in the afterburners, and I was in overdrive. So the next day, I was back out, and I went to those stores that either said no, the buyer wasn't in, or the owner wasn't in, whatever. And I kept on. And today, here we are. There's like a 5-story building here. This is what I built. And I just bought a little, sold a little. Flew to a country I knew nothing of in the language. I mean, I study Thai, speak Thai, and I can write Thai, but not fluent or anything. But I speak pretty good. And you figure it out. So that lifestyle, like I didn't go to the serious business school, but I like to trade and I like to create and I love to make money, but I love to make money doing something that's fun and creative. And that's what I saw since I was a kid. I mean, picking up bottles at the carnival when I was like 5 or 6 years old and running to Brown's supermarket in the little town of Manchester by the sea, getting 2 cents a piece. Man, that was a lot of money for returning a bottle. Can you imagine they stopped recycling like maybe in the 60s? Cost too much. I lost the job. No, I built I helped build carnivals. The Ferris wheel and the things that spin around and all this. And then I got free food and they bought me meals and I would go to the sub shop, buy everybody's lunch. And they'd say, get a sandwich for yourself, right? And they would give me a little money. And I'm 7 years old. So that is the difference. I wasn't like at the playground or running around the woods playing army. I was learning shit. But it was fun and creative. Like I had an erector set at home. I love that thing in the wintertime, right? So it was all about creating, building, designing. So that goes into your life. Creating, building, designing. Whether it's designing, how about creating, building, designing? Or creating, building, doing? One of those things. But this is what happened. This is the result of those words, whatever order you put it in. You can say it any way you like. You can call it what you like. You can brand it, label it, and you can say all this fancy crap. That's why the shirt doesn't have a little polo player on it. I used to go into the company and say, I said, don't you have a shirt with my name on it? Why do I have someone else's, Tommy's name on this shirt? My name's not Tommy. What the hell am I wearing a shirt around with the name Tommy? My name's Peter. Why don't you have a shirt with Peter? Oh, we don't have it. I'm like, okay. So have fun while you're doing all this stuff. So the guy in California, the comedian guy, says, I've never heard it put that way, that God is a partner, not someone up there, not someone separate from us. He's like our buddy, or she is our buddy, our friend, not someone to fear. Like, what do you think? How should we do this? How are we going to make this happen? And I know it's going to happen, whatever it is. I know it. Because I expect the best to happen. And it does. Why? I got a good friend. I don't know about you. But I buddied up with like the best friend in the world, like a puppy dog, right? Because it's, what do they call that? I read a book on this. Love. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. So when I was recovering from my damaged 12 years traveling around the world drinking cases of Heineken and cognac on the dock in Venezuela and aguardiente down in Colombia and getting legal drugs across the countertop in Peru and Chile and really pushing it to the limits, having a blast until I couldn't walk anymore. And I was coming around, and oh my God, what hell that was. But I got this one book from this guy, Ken Keyes, not Ken Kesey. He's from Oregon, and he had a center. And what he taught, I'll never forget. He taught, because I didn't love myself very much because I was beating up, but I had to relearn to love myself, right? Like I'm a valuable being. After you damage yourself and you go down for 12 years, you don't feel very good, Maybe some of you know that feeling. And so I had to get out of that. And I didn't like pain. I decided when I make a decision, I made a decision. I made a decision. I'm doing it no matter what. Whatever I got to do, I'm doing it. Serious decision is a decision. When I do it, it's not like wishy-washy. Like I might be undecided and that could last for years. And that's fine because whatever it is, it's not worth deciding on because it's not boom, clicking. So if it doesn't resonate, there's nothing to decide on. So when it resonates, boom, I knew I had enough pain in my life and it's time. I'm going to do something. Because I don't like this pain. It sucks. I'm changing it. I'm taking things in my hand and changing my life. And I did it. And I locked me up for 30 days in a very expensive place. And it was good. And so that was, I don't know, 1982 in February 28th. It's a January 28th, a few years ago, and 1982. So for that, I'm grateful, but I had to dig out of this hole. Then I had to keep deciding. Then I decided, I bought and sold jewelry for 4.5 years. And I kept on telling people, make it this way, make it better, make it better, make it better. They said, yes, okay. They didn't. I said, you suck. I'm leaving. I'm doing it. Let me show you. I rolled up my sleeves and I said, I'm doing it myself. And now, I don't know, it's probably 20,000 designs, but it's 18,000 designs later. I'm here with you. Some of the designs up there, a little faded out, but it's the focus, the light, and you can see it all online. But what is different about Peter Stone? Well, the founder is different. Okay? I can promise you that. You're going to say, like, who's this weird guy? He's strange. Yes, that's me. And that's the way it is, because I find some normal shit pretty boring, really boring. Some things that people do in life, I'm like, how? No wonder you're not very happy. No wonder it's difficult to get up in the morning. No wonder, because there is no wonder. That's what you wonder, why you feel this way, or you're not doing this, or not taking that action, because you're lacking wonder. Like, I'll sign an email or something, I'll say, have a wonderful. I never run the words together, because that's like slamming, that's like a shortcut. You lose the power. You want wonder first, wonder in your life. Like, what's going on? What's so cool in the world? Why? How? What? When? Where? Who? How? 6 questions that bring the wonder of life into focus. So I say, have a wonderful, F-U-L-L, day or night or life. So I took this guy to Thailand, and when I started my own company, I told my wife, I said, look, I need some help. Come on, help me build this company. And of course, she spoke fluent Thai. I stole from a company that was screwing me. And then she went to another company that was screwing me. And then I said, please come and help. And I said, this is what we need to make. She goes, oh, yeah, I can find this person and that person. So she found those person, and the jewelry got much worse. It got worse for a year. Then I had to go buy jewelry from this trash buyer. He had been in business for 25 years. He used to come to Thailand, not just buy the regular jewelry. He would buy the closeouts for the cheapest price. And I found him in San Diego. And he's no longer in business, of course. But I had to go there to keep the business going. You do whatever you got to do. You step back 2 or 3 steps. You swallow hard. You go, oh, my God, I don't really want to do this, but I'm doing it because I got to keep the ship afloat, or I got to make it get across the ocean, or I want to fill it with great jewels and treasures. So I started my own company here in Thailand after I started my other company of trading. And what is the Peter Stone difference? When I started hiring people, I'm like, this is what I need to get done. And we would have like somebody's birthday, my wife's birthday or my birthday, and we'd have a party like we were buds, and we had to work really close to each other. I'm in a house. I didn't even have air conditioning when I came here because we put all the money in the jewelry. Didn't have air conditioning. I didn't have an electronic scale. I had a scale like this. I bought a fax machine from America with this big giant converter. And the maid would forget to plug it in from time to time, the converter, when she dusted, and boom, it would blow up. So we have to put in a new plug in that. And people stealing silver. Why counting the silver every night? I said, why aren't you? And I'm like, oh. So 1 month later, we caught this girl stealing silver. And surprise, surprise, surprise. Then one night we're working late, like we work till 5 o'clock in the morning. That's the kind of team. And those people are still here today. That was in 1992. And they stayed up all night long to pack like a couple of little boxes to get the shipment out on the airplane, express mail. And I went downtown. I bought them snacks, we call them, baked goods and snacks. And we had like a party, and we worked late, and we packed jewelry, and we put earring hooks on it. We did that. People don't know. And then they say, oh, why is your jewelry so expensive? I just got an email from a person who's been a customer for 25 years asking me, oh, Peter, I get all my jewelry so cheap. I said, no shit. Slave labor. They work 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 6.5 days a week. No air conditioning. We have air conditioning. It costs money. People have cars and they're safer. They don't get killed or maimed on their motorcycles. Life is better for them. We use rubber wood. We make every single one of these designs behind you. Then those people go out and copy them and go sell them cheaper. And then they want to know why my price is higher than someone who copied our hard work. And we have 9 and 11 rubber molds that we have to make for one ring to make sure that detail on that ring has no seam anywhere. There is no seam anywhere. I found this bag in the bottom of a drawer. This was a design from 1992. It just happens to fit. Then this, I'm not sure this, let's see, I don't know if this is a ring. The bottom line is, so when you make a ring like this, when we cast this in a size 4. And we cast it in a size 5 and a size 6 and a size 7 and a size 8, all the way up to size 15 or 16. We have a rubber mold. So for this one ring, there are rubber molds to shoot the wax. You can see it's a stack like this, upstairs, overflowing with rubber molds for each ring. But thank God it's rubber, and it's an environmentally friendly material from our rubber trees that we make rubber wood displays with. That's all gives a job to someone in the third world. This is the Peter Stone philosophy. And so everybody in the company here has a better life because I showed up and they showed up and they realized how much better I treat the people here than the Thai people do, or the other international people. I had a German guy working here. He was he was a maniac. Not that all German, he just had his way. Like he gets, and then another guy, he gets so angry if something didn't work right. I never got angry. I'm like, I got frustrated when I had the cultural learning experience, but you know what? Do you know what? When you get angry, why bother? You feel bad. Other people feel bad. There's no upside to it. They say anger is good. Well, maybe you got to blow off some steam. Go ride a bike. Go exercise. Go kickbox. Go do something. But you don't need to feel it bad. Just get it up. So this guy used to get so angry, he had to put his head down on the desk because he would turn red. And he came from a culture, from a land that they have a bit of there's an intensity about the character. So he didn't last very long, but I'm like, look, everybody here is trying their best. They're doing their best. They want to do their best because we give to each other. They gave me centeredness. They gave me this like mindset, like no matter what's going on, everything will be okay. That mindset. And with smiles, sleeping on thin bamboo rolls with the paintings on the walls are sheets ripped out of magazines, scotch taped to the wall when I first found them. And I said, no more. So they are treated like any other human being on the planet, like people. Okay. And that's why we're still together. There's a lot of people here that stayed at that place early in the morning till 5 o'clock to get those shipments out. They're still here. If you go see the picture of us sitting in front of our house, like 18 of us, maybe 60% of those people still here. There's a reason. Heart. It's two-way street. And a lot of people think, like when I got this email, this one long email to Peter, I want to talk to you. This email's for you. I'm like, cool. Let's see what's up. And they have a better life. Kids have good clothes and clean places to live and good food, and have a better life, as all people should in all places. It's not about, I didn't give them anything. It's not about giving anything away. They taught me a lot. I taught them about cleanliness, about self-worth, about value. And I was just before I was doing this video, I was like, there's a bathroom and I want to make sure I'm going to be here for the while. So I do a check. And on the way, there is an escape door. And I saw the lock and I didn't see, well, where's the key? So the maid in the corner keeps some cleaning materials. And one of the broom handles was leaning against the box that had the hammer to break the glass for the key to escape. There's an escape ladder outside. We have fire training here. We have trips. We have all kinds of stuff. So that's just at the core of what goes on with Peter Stone. The energy that goes into making Peter Stone jewelry is different. It's markedly different. The heart, the caring. So why get angry if they screw up? If I know they're screwing off, they're not paying attention, then I have to get firm and say, look, we'll pay attention, stop talking, okay? Because sometimes it gets a little too comfortable, and you got to come in and you got to just be the boss. And they get it, and they're right back on it. But that's where the managers have to come in and handle it. So I'm not going to go too deep on that. But the bottom line is, look at that. That's one of my favorite pieces, inspired by Dali. I love that piece, 3 inches. By the way, Dali was born in this month. And I want to thank him because I had lunch in front of the museum in Spain. And I went in and got some of his books, and I was inspired. Then the next time I went to Spain at a dive show in 2018, I went back, and I went back much earlier, and I went into his museum. Talk about wonder, creativity, connection, beyond anything any of us could imagine. I like to think I'm on his trail someplace behind him when it comes to downloading the gifts that we have. So these things are what's different about Peter Stone Jewelry. We have a certificate of assay that we just did last month. The silver content is 93.48%. By law, it only needs to be 92.5%. It's a whole percent higher than legally required. But our jewelry is a whole percent more beautiful. And we don't need anybody else's designs. We have our own creativity. We're inspired. We put the Peter Stone twist to whatever it is we do. And we do. This is a design a woman brought to us, a special design she wanted made with special words. So these are the kind of people that connect and want people where the jewelry matters, the symbols that really matter, and the words that really matter. That's our fun steampunk. I took our best sellers, 20 designs, and I made a steampunk collection out of it and had some fun. And the boar rings right there from the Norse collection. I mean, I was up in the coast, the west coast of England, speaking with one man who lived at the foot of Odin's Mound for 20 years and studied runes. I mean, he's a master. These people just showed up in my life. And I have no idea. I mean, I'm sitting here in Thailand, his wife from Singapore, and he came here and showed up, and we talked for 3 days. And he's a 33-degree Mason. But he got bored. He said they have too many rules. I left. And he belonged to another group. But he left. He said, because their rules are limiting. They're limiting. Amazing man who designed a resort that has, I forget the name. You walk through the light. Oh gosh, you know it. Anyway, he's an amazing guy. He went to the 6 most spiritual places in the world for this resort. One was Korea, one's Hawaii, one's out of Peru, and wanted to build this, but this was back in 2008 and 9 when everything collapsed, so it never happened. But along the journey, the people bring these amazing ideas, and he's the one that knew I had been to the Dali Museum, and he brought me a CD back in the day of 18 of Dali's designs where the sails of the ship were the butterfly and the woman laying on the beach, the waves were her blanket. And it goes on. There's like 18 designs where all life is intertwined. This is the stuff I'm talking about, that there's no separateness. That's why we open up and we get the best of the best. I used to do this weird thing in the winter when I had our office in Ocean City, Maryland, like not even a block from the beach, on Ocean City, on the highway, right? And next over is the block that goes to the beach. So we were on 33rd Street. We had a store on 21st Street. And I closed the store on 21st Street. It's a 1,200 square foot store. And the beach was just over the sand dune. And I would go in and I would meditate on these photographs. And it's the winter, January, February. And I'd do some work, and mostly I was doing like meditation and really intense meditation work, like alpha beta stuff, like leaving and really being detached, amazing stuff. Listen to some world music and sit back in a recliner chair and move the store wide open. And I had photographs I had taken in Bangkok of sun rising over a little leaf, but I blew it up and I would meditate on these photographs. And I just got lost in the places I could never describe. And then after hours, I do that for 2 or 3 hours. Then it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I lived like, I don't know, 120 blocks away, 110 blocks. I guess it was blocks in Ocean City. And I never went home till really late. And then I would go to the beach on a clear full moon night or close to it. Nobody's there. And the clouds are so clear, and the stars and the Milky Way. And you're like, the energy, the spirit of all the people that came there, it's like the energy, like it. So what I discovered, I would always say, like, I want to connect with all the brilliant creators, all the energy of all the greatness of all the people of all the world from the past and the present and the future. And I would do this energy work, like opening up the chakra and sucking in all of this amazing energy. And knowledge that's out there for all of us. And and then I went down to Chincoteague Island, and where there's really high sand dunes. And I did this often, and I did it in Spain. I've done this around the world. This like sucking the creative energy in to the universe so that we can be present, we can be at one, we can be the best that we can be with all the gifts. You got to get that point. This is the difference of Peter Stone jewelry. It's created not as a business model. Oh, shit, let's see. Here's a spreadsheet. How are we going to make a profit of 30%? As I said, I didn't look at a lot of spreadsheets. I manage my business here. And I do. And I do look at the accounting. You have to. But I ran it based on what I did, what I'm doing, and most importantly, what I am capable of. That, I mean, when I say I mean you. I see people saying, I'm learning. I don't know. I'm a little afraid. You probably get an email from me if you signed up for a wholesale account, because I'm going to respond to every single person that signed up one by one. And I will talk about, no matter what it is your question, I'm going to answer it. And let's grow. Let's make business. Let's break through the stupid stuff that holds us back. And I don't mean, I'm not like this. I'm telling you, I will get you through. I've done it. I'm living proof. I'm not a book. I'm like 50 books, but I'm not a book that you go in and you say, well, this is how they did it. No, let's talk. This is what's different about Peter Stone. I care about your business. I got so excited yesterday. I got so excited because this woman from Maryland, I don't know how old she is, how young she is. I know nothing about her. I used to live in the Eastern Shore of Maryland. She's from way in the South, in a little town of 653 people. And she goes, Peter, I'm starting my online business, and I got to learn all this business stuff. And I'm like, cool. So I said, I get that because, she goes, it takes me right back to the place when I'm starting my business. And I'm like, excited. Why? I can help her. I already gave her like 3 cool tips because they have like a big a seafood festival. I said, look, make a flyer, tell everybody about your new business. You're a local girl, put it there, go to there, ask them if you can put it on tables and let them see who you are, and then buy your dive silver jewelry from you. And then they have a little, I was just searching her town because I knew it was, I heard the name before, and I knew it was someplace. And I think it was when I was chasing crabs down in southern Thailand. There's a big, huge town down there. It's got the best crabs. Anyway, she lives near there. So I told her, yeah, and we have a line of crab jewelry too, if that's your niche. So I said, look, you have a website on your town, like the town's website. And I saw some ads. So why don't you put an ad up there and ask them, look, you're a local girl. Can't you just put it up there, lady? And just, tell people, hey, buy from the backyard. Buy local. And I'll help her. And I can help you. And maybe, you've done really big business, but I promise you, we can always, that's why I'm always listening to other people, because I know one idea can just, make all the difference in the world, because you may learn one thing that's going to break you through that thing's been holding you back for years and years and years and years and years. I know, because I've been held back, and I kept on pushing. And I really didn't come into my own. I can just say maybe 10 years ago, like I felt really like, wow, I arrived and I'm like living in my space, like the stress, like all the stress, everything's like, doesn't matter what comes at me now. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. That is what a master coach does. Okay. You can give me anything. I will figure it out. I don't care. I got an engineering degree. I got all kinds of stuff. I got common sense. I got connection. Most importantly, I got connection. Because then when you start asking the right questions, you start getting the right answers. So ask questions. So now I'll tell you about our jewelry. It's better than 925. The hands that make it care. They always ask, if you make a custom design, can we sell this too? No, because that's a private label. But they always ask. They always check. Respectful. Oh, we're going to slip one out the back door to make an extra $50. Can we do that? Yeah, right. Go to hell. Screw that shit. I'm not living there. We don't do that. We don't need it. I'll go without the money. Actually, I'd rather go without the money. Eat less and be happier. I don't think about it. I don't need to steal from others. I mean, it's just not the way it is, right? It's not the way. And then the price to pay, everyone says, oh, like, well, my business isn't going what I want. How are you operating? Where are you operating from? Are you operating from truth? Or are you operating from fantasy? Or, that is mistruth, misguidance. What's real? And where do you live? Are you comfortable? Are you in your skin? Do you wake up comfortable? You do what you can do. I mean, I'm like really comfortable. Because I discovered that I'm okay being imperfect and doing everything that I do. It's fine. And you know what? Look, I even got a wrinkle. I got a damage I got a scar here. I got a scar here from when I was 20 playing hockey, drunk. I levitated at 2 o'clock in the morning. Did a hole. I mean, I got lots of damage. That's a very imperfect face. It's beat up. And I used to think, oh my God, look, you got a wrinkle here, but that's okay. It's building. Every one of them's probably got a reason, probably got a character in there built in some place. It's a mile marker. So that's all I got. Just believe me, Peter Stone is different. That's that. Believe what I say. No. Go discover for yourself the Peter Stone difference. And if you don't start to see it, come back every day. Just come back every day, because I will teach you a little something new that you didn't know about Peter Stone. And I will teach you a little bit something about the jewelry. So that jewelry up there is before it's finished, before it's polished. That's a rough piece of jewelry before polishing. That's polished. So we continue working from the unpolished, and we try to shine like the jewelry. That's all we can do every day. We shine a little more. We figure out a little more, and we glow a little brighter. Don't forget. Remember, I don't want to zip. Take it back. Let's rephrase it. Remember, everyone who touches a piece of Peter Stone jewelry must benefit from the maker to the wearer and everyone in between. You may be in between, delivering it to the wearer, and you may be a wearer. So here's our lovely housekeeper, and her name is Nam, and she's a singer and an entertainer, and she's been working with us for many years, and she is one of the team here that does a very important part of keeping the company clean for everyone who's here. And how I built my company is I listen to every single person at every level. I talk to them, treat them just as if they were a manager or the people that make the food. You want them healthy, you want them happy, you want to see their smiles. That's it. That's life. Go make somebody smile. Give them a piece of beautiful Peter Stone jewelry they can feel, that they will pass down, and they will recognize the Peter Stone difference. I'll see you tomorrow.